Okay, so big breaking news coming in right now, viewers, where we know that Prime Minister Modi is in southern France and paid homage to the memory of freedom fighter V D Savarkar, who attempted a courageous escape at the port city. He also paid tributes to jawans martyred in the World War I and II. Prime Minister Modi is in southern France to inaugurate a new Consulate General of India with French President Emmanuel Macron. Leaders have a series of engagements planned for today, including a visit to the war cemetery to honor the sacrifice of Indian soldiers who died fighting in the world wars. So that's a big update coming in right now. The Prime Minister has been going ahead and holding multiple meetings and these engagements that we are seeing right now. And we are seeing that back-to-back updates are coming in. And Prime Minister Modi had also addressed the AI summit in Paris, an event he's co-chairing with the French President Macron on February 11, 2025. Okay, I want to go across to our guest who's joining us right now. Former Ambassador Deepak Vora is live with us. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Vora. And my first question to you is, how do you really read this visit of the Prime Minister? Because we see that it's a very, very important visit, underscoring once again the bilateral ties between India and France.
Well, first of all, thank you very much. Early in the morning to listen to you is quite an experience, and it's wonderful. It energizes all the millions of people who watch you. You're a very good man. May I say that France was my first posting, 1975, 76, 77, long before you were born. And even then one could understand that there was something special about India in French minds and hearts. I recall many conversations with French leaders who said that we are looking to the future. The future belongs to India. Now, about France, even then, very interesting. I recall the advertisements that used to come when the oil price crisis erupted. France has no oil, very few natural resources. But the catchphrase was, on n'a pas de pétrole, mais on a des idées, which means that we don't have oil, but we have ideas. Now, France generates 80% of its energy from nuclear sources, and it is getting that from wherever it gets the raw material, the uranium, etc., which it processes. It's one of the world leaders in this, and it's also been partnering with us. The second thing about the French was that they realized they would not be dependent on anybody, that a world was coming in which France would no longer be the master of its former colonies in West Africa, so they had to develop partnerships, and that is what encouraged them to look at India. Today, we are seeing the realization of that. France has never sanctioned India. The rest of the world, the developed world, if I may use that term, the so-called developed world, has been trying to act tough with us on what our nuclear program, etc., trying to stymie or stall or torpedo our space program, but the French have never done this. Even when I was posted there, ma'am, interestingly, we had a representative of ISRO and one of the Indian Railways, apart from our defense attaches, and I'm talking of the late 70s. Quite amazing to see how we had identified this source of technology, this source of innovation of ideas, and the French understood who we were and respected us for what we were. The consulate, the new Consulate General in Marseille in South France, a beautiful, beautiful city. I spent a lot of time there, is quite a game changer because it's the first Consulate General, the first diplomatic mission outside Paris that we are going to have in France. And the fact that they are going to pay tribute to the Indian soldiers who died, even though we were a colony, they died protecting France. That's very, very significant. I think the French recall this also. And also, please remember, ma'am, that France had these, what they call the comptoirs, the colonies, the little territories that they did, Puducherry, Karikal, Mahi, Yunnan, etc. They gave them to us in 1956 without a fight. The Portuguese didn't. We had to seize Goa from them. So these are things that the French remember, and Macron has always talked about his very warm affection for India. I've met him, I've heard him speak, he's brilliant. And then, of course, you saw the hug that they gave each other, the Prime Minister, they patted, we call it Jadoo ki Japki and Jadoo ki Tapki. So they kind of pat each other on the back, they hug each other. It was quite amazing to see this happen. Today, if I were to name a developed country that is truly a goodwill partner for India, a nation that wants India to move ahead because India has never challenged French interests, I would say it's France. And I think Prime Minister's visit there is reinforcing this perception. We are strengthening the existing bridges of friendship and cooperation between India, the greatest democracy in the world, the largest democracy, and France, which has its own role to play, independent of the other great powers, whether it's the European Union or NATO or whatever. It wants independence. India also wants independence. So there's no divergence. In fact, I'm amazed at the convergence, which we keep discovering every day, new areas where we have similar ideas. And it's not, let me just conclude, it's not just liberté, égalité, fraternité, the French Revolution, the ideas of freedom, equality, and brotherhood, etc. It's day-to-day, living day-to-day. That is what India and France are all about.
That is right. That is right. And PM Modi has also said that it's the right time to invest in India. That's also one of the top statements from him. Thank you for joining us, former Ambassador Deepak Vora, with us here at Republic TV.